I'm Raymond. You're watching RPadTV, and once again, Facebook ate itself. So I'm changing that. Let's see. Come on, magic. Yes, and now we're live on all three platforms. So yes, if you're joining us now on Facebook, I am still Raymond, and you are still watching RPadTV. And today's episode is all about Wednesday Season 2. Joining me to talk about the show is the excellent video game journalist and even more excellent friend, Paul Semel.
Hello.
Although maybe
greetings from Southern California.
Yes.
Warm and sunny Southern California.
Yes. Is it gross there? It's pretty gross here in the Vegas area.
No, it did get a little I was about to say a little clammy. That's not the right word. It did get like a little sort of muggy last week, but
yeah,
today it's been fine.
Same here. I mean, we're not too far apart, so we have
right.
Yeah, the humidity especially for the desert has been unusually gross. And when you combine that with like 100-degree weather, it's not fun. It's not a great combo.
Yeah.
So Paul, let us kick things off on Wednesday Season 2 with our bite-size reviews of the show. What did you have to say about Wednesday Season 2?
Okay. Like the first, the second season of Wednesday was full of the kind of dark humor and horrific horrors we've come to expect of the Addams family's youngest daughter since we saw the first episode of the original Addams Family back when we were kids.
Excellent. My original comments were more lewd, so I had to rewrite it, but I'll touch on what I wanted to say when we talk about
don't get canceled in the middle of the show, please.
When we talk about our favorite parts of the show, I'll go more on that. But for my Blue Sky review, I wrote, loved Wednesday Season 2. The show had some great performances, but I'm enamored with the world building. I love the little touches like the Telltale Cafe serving the fall of the House of Usher Chai and Murders in the Rue Macchiato. Also, Joanna Lumley is a mother. So for those not familiar with the writings of Edgar Allan Poe, Telltale Cafe is based on, well, actually the cafe and the drinks are based on 3 of his books. So that is a wonderful, wonderful thing. He is, of course, the Nevermore Academy's most famous alumni. I love the literary references. I mean, so much is named after Poe. The 4 houses of the school that we know of are all inspired by Shakespeare. So that is very cool for literary nerds. I'm actually encouraging our friend Matthew Freeman to check it out because he is a playwright and also a literary nerd and also an all-around cool guy. Now, let's give this some context. You mentioned that you watched the show as a kid. Maybe not everyone that watches Wednesday, goes that far back, but we also have the Christina Ricci movies. What is your background with the Addams Family, Paul? And what did you think of the first season of Wednesday?
Right. So I'll get real specific with this. When I was a little kid growing up in suburban New Jersey, watching WPIX and WNET and all that stuff, the Addams Family was one of the shows that I watched incessantly after school. I've probably seen every episode of that show like a dozen times. I mean, like at minimum. But I've also actually read some of the original Charles Addams cartoons that were in the New Yorker, because my parents have had a subscription to the New Yorker since probably the 1960s. And when I was a kid, whenever a new issue would come in, I would always read the cartoons. That was the only thing I ever read in them, mind you, back then. But like I would always read like the cartoons, and every once in a while they would print or reprint one of his. So that I go all the way back to that. And then of course I saw the 2 movies that Christina Ricci did. I don't remember the director's name. I don't remember the Angelica Houston, Christopher Lloyd. And it was the guy who made the Men in Black movies originally too. Barry Sonnenfeld, yeah. And then I tried to watch the most recent animated movie with Oscar Isaac and Charlize Theron, but I couldn't get through it.
Totally forgot that existed.
I think there's like been 2 of them too, and I couldn't get into that one, even though they look really, really cool. as for the first season of this show, I really, really liked it a lot. From the get-go, to me, it very much harkens back to both the Barry Sonnenfeld movies and the original series, and even the cartoons in some respects. It also reminds me a lot of the Lemony Snicket show that Netflix
Yeah,
did.
I can see that.
I love the Lemony Snicket books, and I do like the movie a lot too. But the TV show with Neil Patrick Harris was just really, really good, and they share very much the same kind of Edgar Allan Poe, dark humor kind of vibe about them, like that gothic, kind of thing. So
it's funny whenever I see like a barren tree that is all sad looking, I just think of Lemony Snicket's immediately. So my background is very similar to yours. You grew up in Jersey, I grew up in New York, so we both had WPIX.
Yep.
And they must have had some sweet licensing deal because the Addams Family was always on. And that was one of the shows I would watch after school simply because it was there. Catchy as hell theme song, of course. Great characters. I was always a Lurch guy for some reason. It would crack me up. I just wanted to be like, you rang. Stuff like that. Of course, I watched the movies as well with Christina Ricci and Raul Julia. Those were fantastic. I knew of the cartoons, the animated movies at the time. Don't remember them all until you just mentioned it. So I absolutely loved season 1. It was not what I was expecting at all. I'm like, wow, this is like a fucked up Harry Potter, which was not what I expected. I also thought it would have more of the family and not be as focused on like a teen, like a young adult show. And I found it really refreshing and original. I wasn't particularly big on Jenna Ortega, but she absolutely slays in this role. I became an Emma Myers fan because of season 1, and I just thought it was really, really well done and very surprising. Now, let's talk about a few of our favorite things. Like raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. What did you like most about Wednesday season 2?
Well, there was a whole bunch of things, actually. First of all, I liked that we got to see more of Morticia and Gomez this time around.
Yeah.
But I also liked, and seeing the two of them together was a highlight as well. And that to me was one of the highlights of the show season in general, was sort of some of the interactions between the disparate characters. Like, I love all the stuff with Enid and Thing.
Yeah.
Like how she became like really like protective of him, and he was really like protective of her. I also like the whole thing where Wednesday and her principal, who's now dead, like their interaction. What's funny is, like, you watch them together and you're like, okay, Gwendolyn Christie is twice the size of Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
But you look at it, actually looked it up. The height difference is only a foot, but like, it's just the way they sort of are in those scenes. I also thought it was very funny that Gwendolyn Christie had a line about not being the devil.
Yes.
Which, inside joke for people who like a certain other Netflix show.
The Sandman, which we talked about.
I wasn't going to say what it was.
I'll say it.
There was also a lot of really fun little moments that I liked, like Morticia and Gomez dancing. I love when Enid made a reference to Wednesday Corps. Yes. And then one of my favorite things, which we'll talk about later, was the Freaky Friday thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Carlos says that animated Addams Family movies has Charlize as Morticia. She's the best.
I love Charlize. She's super cool as a person, as an actress, and she was good in that movie. For some reason, that movie just didn't land for me. I don't know why.
Because you hate Poe Dameron. No, I don't know why. I love there are two things I really love about this series in general, and it was cemented in season 2. There's a line that Enid said in season 1, where she's talking about why her and Wednesday work as best friends. Like, we shouldn't work, but we do. And that's so much of this show. Like, these characters should be silly and ridiculous, but the writers and the actors do such a great job of humanizing them and making them identifiable. So even though, we have invisible girls and electric powered outcasts and what have you, they feel all very human and relatable, which is really interesting. But I'm just so impressed by the world building in this series. Like I mentioned the Telltale Cafe, which was a new addition to season 2, since they can't go into town anymore for reasons. Just the different houses, all the little nods, homages to the comic strips and the TV series. Like if you look at things like when they do flashbacks of young Wednesday and they show her bed and it has a squid on it, that was on her bed in the comic strips as well. So I love little touches like that just pay respects to their forerunners. It's the world building in this is absolutely incredible. I want to talk about some of the actors in this show, and let's stick with the adults first, because there were a lot of great additions to season 2. We have Christopher Lloyd, Steve Buscemi, Joanna Lumley, Tandy Newton, Billy Piper. I mean, these are all heavy hitters. What was your favorite performance for the new adults and why, Paul?
I mean, Joanna Lumley was certainly one of the best ones, because she could and it's sort of typical of the show is like any of these people could be one-note characters,
right?
And all of I think it's a testament to both the writing and the acting that they're not, that they bring something new to it. Like Joanna Lumley could have just been huge bitch. And she wasn't. She was, but she was also other things. And she was just, and the other thing I think is which is going to sound kind of weird. I get the sense that this is a fun show to work on. I get the sense that they have fun doing it. And I get the sense that she came into it and they were just like, crank it up to 11. And she was like, and she's already up to 11 normally. So she was like, okay, it was just one of those like eat the scenery kind of performances that can go horribly awry sometimes. But in this context and with everybody else sort of like, giving her the space to do it, she just did a really good job. I also really liked Christopher Lloyd. Although the funny thing is I had forgotten that he was Uncle Fester in the movies. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was like so excited. I'm like, Christopher Lloyd is it. He's always good in everything he does.
Even as a disembodied head, he's amazing.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute. Who was in the movie? I'm like, oh, it was him. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of all the characters in the ticker, or all the actors in the ticker rather. And it's really hard to pick because there are some really great performances here. Christopher Lloyd, of course, stood out. I've never imagined a disembodied head having so much heart. So that was funny. Steve Buscemi is just always awesome, but yeah, I'm going to go Joanna Lumley. Because of that character it would have been easy to play her one note, but she didn't. She gave her lots of layers and lots of nuance. And I'm just a fan of hers in general. Like Absolutely Fabulous is one of my favorite shows of all time. And even in her smaller roles, like the bit she did in The Wolf of Wall Street, I thought was really funny, where she plays the proper aunt that's also a little bit naughty. So yeah, I just love the character and the performance there. Now, of course, we have some newcomers in the student side as well. I want to talk about who caught your eye, but I will kick this one off first. I love the character of Agnes, the invisible girl that's kind of like a Wednesday fangirl. But it would have been so easy to make that character just like an annoying sidekick, kind of like who was Peppermint Patty's sidekick in Peanuts? Marcy?
Oh, Marcy, yeah.
Yeah. So I was afraid the character was going to be a Marcy, and they really made her more than that. I really liked how, she just wanted, the invisible girl just wanted to be seen. She wanted to fit in, and she felt out of place. I love that when she went to the support group that Professor Orloff ran for disembodied body parts, which I still think is a funny thing that exists. But it says all are welcome, so she went, and she was welcome. But yeah, they ended up giving her a lot of heart. Obviously, her relationship with Wednesday was interesting, but I love how her relationship with Enid evolved from season 1 all the way to the finale, where they couldn't stand each other for most of it, but then they kind of figured each other out more, and they came to like each other at first begrudgingly, but then it seemed kind of genuine, especially with the gala, So I liked her the most out of all the newcomers. Although part of me wanted to like Bruno because, you have a Filipino werewolf in there. I'm like, yes. But then he turns out to be a cheating philanderer dude. I'm like, no. Well, you were saying about
I agree with you about Agnes. The only thing that I didn't like was at the very, very end when she started to turn into like an Enid stan.
Yeah.
And Enid wasn't putting a stop to that, because I was like, you literally just watched this girl become a Wednesday stan and you hated her for it. So now you're like, I was like, come on, like, don't do that. Right. But that was the only thing. I mean, I understood it in the context of the show. I just wish she hadn't done that. But yeah.
Well, that's appropriate she was, for her age, for a young girl, young person just trying to figure out who they are and who they want to be. So of course you're going to have different people you look up to. But who is your favorite out of the?
I would say Agnes was probably the new people.
Yeah,
she was sort of the biggest sort of addition to the cast of the kids, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, you had Bruno, I guess, was the next biggest. Yeah, I guess nobody really major.
I mean, what they did do is I don't remember her name. The siren,
Bianca.
Yeah, they gave her a much more prominent role, and her I really, really liked, and I liked how she played. How she kept finding herself being manipulated, but was constantly trying to figure out how to get out of it. And I thought she was really, really cool. And then she had to she had her own parental issues and stuff like that. So I liked all that.
Love that actor. I think she's so talented. Although I kind of worry about season 3, because what was it, 3 years between seasons 1 and 2?
Yeah.
These kids are getting old, man. So when you have like a school drama, I'm like, why is the student?
Well, I don't think that season 3 is going to take nearly as long. I think I've already heard them that they're trying to get it out, especially because, Emma's career has skyrocketed, especially since Minecraft.
Yeah.
Jenna, of course, is,
massive. Yeah.
So, yeah. And just people are busy.
But already Bianca looks like an adult as a student. So,
right. Yeah, but I mean, that's always been a thing. Like, I remember watching the original Beverly Hills 90210, and Andrea looked like she was like a middle-aged woman.
Oh my God.
So,
yeah.
That's always been sort of a thing.
Is she still in charge of SAG?
I don't think so.
She was for a while.
She was for a while. Yeah.
So we had a 1 episode role by a very major star, Lady Gaga, who played the ghost of Professor Rotwell. What did you think of her performance, Paul?
I thought it was good. I think the only thing I would say about her was that they made it. I was thinking like after that episode, I was like, I thought she was going to be a much bigger part of the show. And then what dawned on me was they never said that.
Right.
They just said, oh, she's going to be on the show. And it was like everybody kind of went nuts over it.
Right.
Which is sort of an unfortunate problem, I suppose, to have. But like, she's just Gaga is so big, and this is such a perfect thing for her to be in that like people ran with. Like some people like, like your Entertainment Tonight and your Extra made it seem like like she was going to be like the main character of this season. And it was like, no, she was just a guest star. She was good. She's, it wasn't like a huge role for her to play, and she didn't have a whole lot to do. She just kind of, floated around ghost-like and
right. But
pontificated.
I thought this was a perfect character and perfect series for her, because her acting style, or her natural personality, really is so theatrical. And if you consider that one of her role models is Liza Minnelli, it just totally makes sense,
Yes.
to have this like overstated villainous kind of. It almost reminded me of like a Adam West Batman character, like the way she delivers her lines. And yeah, I thought
That's funny.
it was an enjoyable role, spot on. And of course, they used her song at the gala, like what is it, Dance Till I'm Dead or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a catchy tune, but I thought the choreography to the song were like Dance Till I'm Dead.
Yeah.
So funny. The returning characters, of course, from season 1. I mean, you mentioned Bianca had a lot more to do in season 2.
Yes.
How about overall, who stood out to you performance-wise for the returning characters?
I gotta go with my gal Enid, Emma Myers. She's just so good in that role, so likable, so personable, and brings to it, like, again, could very easily be a one-note, sugary, sweet, no depth character.
Yeah.
And she brings it to it. And there's just a lot. I mean, you really see it in that Freaky Friday episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really, really funny. And one of the things I thought about when I was watching that episode, and this is true of both Emma and Jenna Ortega, is when you're playing someone who is supposed to be somebody else,
right?
It's very easy to go over the top with it.
Right.
And they really didn't. They really did act like not like I'm Emma, I'm imitating Jenna now. It was like I am Jenna. The exception to that being that one scene where she like kind of goes nutty and like starts dancing around and doing, because she's making fun of she's like getting back at Wednesday in a way.
Right. That was her
going, I'm going to be Enid, on crack.
That was her petty revenge. And I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm such a big fan of Emma Myers from season 1, and then after seeing Minecraft, and really from watching her press interviews after season 1 and seeing that her personality, Emma Myers' personality, is nothing like Enid's at all. She says she's shy and introverted, and when you see her press interviews, there are times where she just looks like really uncomfortable and not wanting to be there. Like she's more Wednesday than Jenna is like Wednesday in real life. So I thought that was very cool. I expect great things from her. I think she has a potential not just to be a movie star, but I think she's a really talented actor. Let's go to the comments.
Didn't you say that she was up for some role in the MCU?
Yeah, they were considering her for Spider-Gwen, and I thought, yes, that makes so much sense. And I would love to see that. I don't know what's happening with that, if anything, but she just seems ideal for it. We have a comment from Johan who says, I enjoyed season 2 just as much as the first. I remember watching the black and white reruns as a kid. Don't forget Casper Van Dien as Gideon. I was like, is that right? Was that him? Oh my God. I totally did not notice that.
He looked very different.
Huh.
It took me, I was like, wait a minute, who is that? I was like, he looked very familiar. I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, it is him.
Wow. My old buddy Casper Van Dien. Oh man, I don't have the clip uploaded. Otherwise I would have played my Casper Van Dien clip. Yeah. So let's talk about underutilized actors. Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to Georgie, who plays Ajax the Gorgon. I just love his dopey character. And when the normies when they had that contest, the normies were like, wow, I feel bad for that Gorgon. Like, after they found out he was being like led on by Enid. I just thought that was funny. So underutilized actors in Wednesday season 2. Who do you think? Who did you want to see more of? Who do you think wasn't used enough?
The only person that I would have wanted to see more of, but just very slightly, was Uncle Fester. Like, yes. I think Fred Armisen does a really, really good job of playing Uncle Fester. Although everybody who's ever played that role isn't really, you know what I mean? Like, Jackie Coogan in the original show was fantastic. Right. For me, Christopher Lloyd. He's just really, really funny. And I really, again, it goes back to sort of the interpersonal relationships. I love him with Wednesday.
Yes.
And I would have liked to have seen him interact with like Enid, you know, or what, you know, or some of the other characters. But not a lot. Like, I think it was just very like, I would have had him turn up in maybe one other episode in like 1 or 2 scenes and then kind of be like, okay, I'm off to Coachella.
Or maybe it was what was the thing that Enid went to? Lupin Palooza. So what would the outcast version of Coachella be? Like, that'd be funny. But I love his take on Fester as well. And I love how very different the Uncle Festers we've had, how unique they are from each other. And he looks like he's having so much fun playing Fester too. You know, the scene where they show all his fake IDs, like apparently he made an effort to have unique poses for all of them, which I think, well, yeah, that's a very Armisen thing to do.
Yeah.
For me, it was 2 of the British actors who I wanted to see, maybe not just more of, but maybe to have them fleshed out a bit. I'm a big Tandy Newton fan. I think she's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
I think her character could have used more development. Maybe there was some and it got cut. Also a massive Billie Piper fan. And yeah, I wanted more of her and just to have more depth as well. I like the counseling she was doing with Enid. I wish we had a little bit more of that. And I wonder what her motivations are in the future. I thought I would have guessed you would have wanted more Billie Piper because you're a big Doctor Who fan.
Yeah. I don't know. I was fine with her role because it felt like it was not like, we know that Steve Buscemi, spoiler alert, is not coming back. And I think I kind of knew that going in. It kind of felt like he wasn't going to come back. Like he was going to get caught at some point and be done with. I feel like she's going to come back. So I feel like her character is going to get that development later. Like you know what I mean? Like in the same way that like all the other like a lot of the other characters got more developed as this, you know, we learned a lot, you know, more about Wednesday and Enid and all these other people this season. So
I have a feeling that principals at Nevermore are like drummers in Spinal Tap. You just go through them.
Right.
Johan agrees with you. He really enjoyed Armisen's Fester as well. I do like one thing about Fred Armisen's friends. They all call him Freddy, which I think is very endearing. And he seems more like a Freddy than a Fred.
Yeah.
Carlos,
it's kind of like how people who are friends with Robert De Niro call him Bob.
Yes.
I can't imagine actually calling that guy Bob.
Yes. Carlos also agrees with me with more Billie Piper. Yes. She was in a Netflix show called Chaos, which I really enjoyed, but got canceled after 1 season. It was, you know, like having Greek gods in today's world. Jeff Goldblum was Zeus, which was
that show. I love that show.
I know. I was so
that show was
disappointed
fantastic
that it got canceled. I wanted more of that. Johan also agrees, says, I really like how they tied in the origin of Thing. Yes, absolutely.
Which I think is the first time they've ever like explained where he came from.
Yes, because most people didn't care to know where this disembodied hand came from. But I love that they did it. I love that they went there.
Well, like, that's not the kind of thing they would have done on a sitcom from the 60s. Do you know what I mean? Like, like they wouldn't have been like, hey, we need to explain where Thing came from.
Absolutely.
They didn't really care about continuity back then.
Total tangent, but one thing I was slightly disappointed in is that Lurch has yet to speak as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't say much in general, but I wanted like a "you rang," like just something like that. And I also love that the actor playing Lurch is also the new Chewbacca. So I always think
Oh,
of,
you're right. Yeah.
yes, the Junus brother, or whatever
Yeah.
his name is. Oh, great question, Carlos. Are we going to get the origins of Lurch in the next season? Yes. I would love to know why he is the Addams indentured servant and how that came to be. Does Lurch get a salary? What is he doing? We'll learn all that and more in season 3, maybe. But before we get to that, Paul, why don't you give the people out there an update on paulsemel.com?
Right. Okay. So we have entered the busy video game season.
Yes.
So there's lots of good video game stuff coming up and already up. In fact, as I told you a moment before we went on air, I literally just got review code for Borderlands 4, so we'll have a review of that next week. But up now, I have 2 that I wanted to highlight. One is The Order of Giants, which is the add-on to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. If you have not played this game, it is absolutely fantastic, but it's also very different than you might think. It's not Tomb Raider, but with a guy. It is instead very faithful to the movies. If lots of punching Nazis and things like that. And Order of the Giants is just basically more of the good stuff. You get to punch more Nazis, and you get to do a lot more exploring, and there's lots of crazy puzzles and snakes.
What's he doing here? It looks like he's like cleaning the chimney or something.
No, that's his whip, and he's gonna use a branch to swing across like a thing. So the Order of Giants is basically a sort of a side mission in the middle of the Vatican scenes where you go out into the streets. The only bummer of which is that he doesn't stop to get pizza, which if you've ever had the pizza in Rome, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And then the other game that I wanted to highlight is called Chronos: The New Dawn, which if you like games like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, and especially Dead Space, this is right up your alley. Very scary sci-fi game. The only thing I would warn people is the combat is really, really tough. I actually think it's a little too tough. And there's no options. There is no difficulty options. There's nothing. It is one of those games where like you only have a handful of ammo at any given time. You're constantly, they always say in Resident Evil games, like, oh, you might consider running away, and you never do because you want to kill every zombie. In this, like, you're gonna want to run away. I mean, if you look at the bottom left corner, like, I'm near death, and there's nobody in like range of where I am right now. I'm literally about to die. And in fact, I remember that scene distinctly because it died like 6 times before I got past it. So It is very, very tough, a little unfairly so, but still really, really fun. And then, of course, we're also into the heavy book season. And so 2 that I wanted to highlight. One is an interview that's up this week with Hazel Zorn about this book called Reef Mind, which is a weird horror novella, in which the barrier reef becomes sentient, and it is not very happy with us.
So it's like Krakoa in the X-Men?
Kinda. And then the other book, which will be up next week, is a really interesting short story collection by a guy named Thomas Ha. I mean, I think that cover kind of says it all. I mean, that's just weird and freaky, and he's supposed to be really, really good, and this is his first collection of short stories. That interview will be up next week.
Very cool. So if you want to check out these stories and a whole lot more, go to paulsemel.com. URL is scrolling right below you. There are also direct links in the Facebook and YouTube's descriptions. If you want to help out RPadTV, you can get a Proton VPN or Proton Mail subscription. Right now, they're running a promo. You can get 40% off a Proton Mail subscription, and you can get up to 64% off a Proton VPN subscription using the link here, getproton.me/SH number 1OJ. There's also direct links for these in the Facebook and YouTube subscriptions. We also have some cool new shirts. We got this Joe Coy, Olivia Haley, and RPadTV shirt. We have this I Have Friends Everywhere shirt. And we have this Certified Guapo shirt, which Paul has, and he needs to wear in the show. So go to Amazon.com, search for RPadTV. And you know what? I should make some phone cases available, since the iPhone 17 and iPhone Air they're going to be available for pre-order starting tomorrow. So I should get those going. But anyway, now back to Wednesday.
What the hell is an iPhone Air?
It is a very ridiculously thin iPhone. It's like something like 5.6 millimeters thin. It's pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have there been videos on YouTube of people snapping them in half with their bare hands?
No, because no one has it yet. That is not an Apple.
Okay.
It is,
it seems like an obvious thing to do.
Pre-orders are tomorrow, and I think they ship on the 22nd, something like that. Oh, for Kronos, Carlos says, "Get good, Paul."
Carlos, don't say that. Don't ever say that.
So,
especially about that game.
One of the problems people had with season 1, people complained that there wasn't enough of the other Addams. Now, some people are complaining about season 2 that there were too much of the other Addams. Paul, what do you make of that? And before you answer that, the right answer to what do you make of that is I can make a hat, I can make a brooch, or a pterodactyl. That is always the right answer to that question. But what do you make of it, Paul?
Okay. I did not agree with the criticism that there was too little of them in the first season. And I do not agree with the criticism that there's too much of them in the second season. I think it was good that they had more of them in the second season. And I think they had just the right amount. That said, I want them to have less of them in the third season. I don't want them to have more of them. I don't want this to turn into the Addams family. Right. I want this to be Wednesday. Now, if they want to do a Morticia and Gomez show, maybe Morticia loves Gomez, kind of like a Bob loves Abishola kind of thing. I think that would be hilarious, especially if they went full sitcom with it. But I love the people that play Morticia and Gomez. But like I said, I don't need to see more of them, or percentage wise in season 3. But I like how much we got in this season.
I lightly agree with not having enough of them in the first season, because Catherine Zeta-Jones and Louis Guzman are just tremendous.
Yeah.
I felt
they were so not in that season, though. That's the thing.
Right. And I was happy with the amount we got of them in this season, and I thought they did well. But I agree with you that I think the show is at its best when it focuses on the students. So I hope they have the spotlight more. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with more Louis Guzman, though.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
I understand both criticisms. I don't think people are necessarily wrong. I just don't agree with them.
Right. Oh, Carlos has an interesting idea here. Piggybacking off Paul's idea, I'd like to get.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd like, a sitcom where you see how did those two meet? Like,
you want Joni Loves Chachi?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think
Gomez. I mean,
obviously you're both wrong. The show that people want is The Secret Life of Lurch. I mean, that's where the money is. But yeah, I mean, I would have no complaints about a spinoff. Although, I don't know, who would you cast as a younger Louise Guzman and a younger Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a good one for the audience to answer. Give that some thought while we talk about our next topic, which is Percy Hines White, who played the character of Xavier Thorpe in the first season. Pretty prominent character. He was written out of season 2 because the actor had sexual assaults and sexual harassment allegations. Nothing has been proven true. But did you miss
Or
the
false.
character and or the actor, Paul? Because he was a pretty big deal in.
Yeah. Here's the thing: when, as people may or may not know who watch the show, you send me the topics of conversation beforehand, and I always look through them to see, what I want to talk about. And when I got to this question, I had to Google the guy to remember who he was, and I think that says it all. Like, I honestly was like, "Wait, who?" And I looked, and I was like, "Okay, I kind of remember him. What did he do?" Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of split on this. Like, I understand why it was written off, because you don't want that baggage around until that situation is cleared up. But also, I kind of missed him in a hate watch kind of way, because the only things I'm familiar with the actor is Wednesday and The Gifted, and in both cases, he played characters that, I'd watch each episode and I'm like, I hope he dies in this one. So I wanted to watch him with the hope that something bad would happen to him to his character, not the real person. So I kind of wanted to hate watch him a bit more, but I also didn't mind that he was gone.
Right.
The way he was, didn't he end up at a Swiss boarding school or whatever?
Yeah.
A convenient way to
Well,
write.
it's easy, that's an easy way to get rid of a student.
Yes.
Oh, he went to a different school.
Yeah. So in addition to the main plot of everything Wednesday was going through, season 2 had a lot of subplots to juggle around. Did any of them feel lacking to you? Did any of them need more fleshing out? Or was there too much of something?
Ultimately, no. I mean, when the season started and there was the whole thing of Pugsley and the zombie, before we knew who he was and how it tied into everything, I was like, what's the point of this? Because of all the actors, the guy who plays Pugsley, sorry kid, is the sort of the least interesting member of the family. And so when it was him and the zombie, I was like, is this going somewhere? And then it went somewhere, and I was like, okay, now this makes more sense. It'd be interesting to go back and watch the show again, knowing that, because I'm like, maybe it would make more sense that way.
Right.
Yeah. Although I did think this is just for you and me. The kid he hangs out with, the bug guy.
Yeah.
Reminded me of our friend Ben, who we used to call Millhouse.
Yeah. No, that's funny, because the guy that plays Pugsley, I'm like, wow, it's Latino Chris Baker. That's who I thought it was.
That's very funny. Yeah, but that's the
Chris
only.
Baker were roommates.
Yeah.
In boarding school.
So the zombie thing at first was the only thing I was kind of iffy on, and then it kind of paid off. So I was like, oh, okay.
And so, comment about Percy Hines White. Carlos says, I knew I didn't like that guy. Yes, Carlos and I both watched The Gifted, sometimes in a hate watching kind of way.
Right.
But your sentiments with the whole Slurp Isaac angle, that's really similar to I felt with the storyline with Bianca and her mom. I'm like, there's a lot of this. Where's it going? I love the actor playing Bianca, but it didn't pay off till they had the big reveal in episode 7 with, Steve Buscemi and their relationship with Gideon and the mom and all that. So,
right.
Yeah, that also kind of like, whoa, kind of didn't see that coming. Or no, honestly, I did not see that coming. I knew there would be a twist with Steve Buscemi, because he is so good at playing the likable, goofy guy, but he's also so good at playing a twisted villain as well. He also had that one line during their pep rally-ish kind of thing where he said, "Greetings, fellow outcasts." I'm like, wow, I'm like, greetings, fellow kids. I thought it was going to have that kind of deal going on. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Now let us turn things to the musical side of the show. Both season 1 and season 2 had great music. What was your favorite vocal track in season 2, and what was your favorite instrumental track?
See, for me, nothing really stuck out as being particularly good.
Oh wow.
What for me, it was more things that like bothered me with the music. And it was that some of the things were just a little too obvious. Like playing like I Walked with a Zombie by Rocky Erickson was like,
Right.
you know, or when they played Zombie by the Cranberries,
Right.
like again, it was like, it's like the one thing in the Captain Marvel movie that I didn't like was when they played Just a Girl when she was beating the guys up. It's like it's too on the nose. The Cranberries thing also illustrates sort of a pet peeve that I have, which is when you have somebody in a show who's playing an instrument by themselves, and all of a sudden like an entire orchestra comes up, but there's
Sure.
no orchestra there. Like it's a weird thing, but like for some reason that always like bothers me. Like,
Yeah, but I think it's kind of different. Like I think of that from the perspective of playing music. Like when I'm playing guitar, I hear what I'm playing, of course, but in my head, like I hear Chad Smith in the drums. I hear Flea on bass when I'm playing. So that's what's going on in my head, even though what's coming out in
which
real
is
life.
weird because you're playing Smoke on the Water. So I don't know why you would
Yeah,
do
which is odd because I'm playing Bon Jovi. Like, that makes no sense at all. But yeah, no, like when I'm making shitty guitar sounds in my head, I hear Flea and Chad and all that. For the vocal tracks, I love their take on Bad Moon Rising. It's a great song, but I love their take on it. It was very different. They made it creepier and slower. But also, if you have Billy Piper and Catherine Zeta-Jones in the cast, you make them sing. So that, like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had that moment. For the instrumental stuff, there's always great cello performances. I love the one. I think there were 2 this season, but the Don't Fear the Reaper was my favorite.
Yeah.
Partially
I forgot
because
about that one.
it was Enid. It was Wednesday and Enid's body playing it, so it looked even funnier
Yeah.
than usual. The only thing that would have made that perfect was if they had, Will Ferrell come out as another professor and this song needs more cowbell, and like that would have been fantastic for me.
That was one of the first concerts I ever saw, by the way, was Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah.
Very cool.
At the Capitol Theater in Sayreville, New Jersey.
Sayreville, that is Bon Jovi territory.
Yeah.
My first concert that I went to without my parents was Heart. And
wow,
it was a good show. Although my parents took me to some really cool concerts. My funniest one was when they took me to see Tom Jones. I'm like, why are my mom's friends throwing their underwear at this old guy? Like, I don't understand what's happening here.
Did they really?
Yes.
Wow. That's funny.
It wasn't the underwear they were wearing. They brought it specifically to throw it in. And yeah, it didn't make sense to me it doesn't make sense to me now.
When I was in college, there was this whole thing where there was a band that was going to play at the school pub, and they wanted an opening act because they had just opened for Alice Cooper, and so they wanted an opening act. So somehow there was like somebody said like, hey, we need to put a band together. Somehow I wound up being like the singer for like 2 or 3 of the songs or whatever.
Sweet.
And the only people who came were this group of friends that I have who were like 11 women. And they literally came, they screamed for me, and then when I was done, they all left. And the funny thing is they told me later that about an hour before they left, they all had this huge argument over who was going to bring their underwear and throw it at me on stage. And then they all kind of were like, none of them wanted to lose a pair of underwear. So
you're not worth the panties, Paul.
Yeah, so I was not worth the panties. So
Carlos adds in, I thought that zombies would be easier for Nevermore to handle. Yeah, although Isaac Zombie was a bit more threatening. He did have the slow moving thing, but he was very good at cracking skulls with his tongue, which is all kinds of creepy.
Yeah.
And he also adds, damn it, Paul, the orchestra was in their head. Yes, which was the point I was making about when I butchered.
Yeah, but he's making a bad Cranberries reference.
Yes, I know. But this was an interesting phenomenon that I wanted to talk about. On Rotten Tomatoes, in season 1, the critic score was lower than the audience score, but season 2 was reversed. The critic score was higher while the audience score was lower. Why do you think that is? And did you prefer one season over the other?
I have no preference between the two. They were about the same for me. I wonder if the difference on Rotten Tomatoes has to do with that sort of the viral moment of her dancing to the Cramp song, which became like a thing. You know, I wonder if like that being such a big thing made people like that season more than this new one, because there wasn't anything. And there's a lot of really great moments in season 2, but there's nothing that went viral like that.
Yeah,
You know, you didn't have like there's like that one you mentioned that there's that cool dance that Enid and Agnes do, but I don't see people on TikTok recreating it.
right.
You know, the way you saw the Goo Goo Ma Cramp song dance get recreated like by everybody.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. Like some ratings, I don't get why people think the way they do. I liked season 2 a little bit better than season 1, only because the actors felt more comfortable and confident with their characters. And maybe it's because Percy Hines White wasn't around for me to hate watch. But yeah, I just love the development more in season 2, and also the more cowbell moment of Enid playing "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Right, but also look at what I just noticed. This the top part, which is season 1, I assume.
Yes,
has 5,000 plus ratings.
Right.
Whereas the one on below has only 1,000. Now, granted, the first season's been around a lot longer, but still,
Yeah.
that kind of speaks to things.
That's more recency than anything else.
Maybe.
I'm sure a lot of people have not finished season 2 yet because they don't watch things as nerdily as we do.
Right.
They watch TV like normal people used to watch TV. I don't know what viewing habits are like anymore. I'm a binger. I like to binge things. So the finale of Wednesday season 2 had a dramatic moment of Enid wolfing out, knowing that she wouldn't be able to turn back because she is a young alpha and it is a full moon. So she wolfs out intentionally so she can help Wednesday not die, and then she runs off to somewhere. Where do you think she went, Paul?
I was going to make a joke about the Horde tour, but I don't think anybody remembers that except for me and a bunch of Fish fans. I think she kind of just ran off to the woods to try and find a place as far away from people as she possibly could so she wouldn't be tempted to eat them. Because she's conscientious like that. She's a good kid, that Enid.
But I think in the back of her head, she also wants to go somewhere she knows Wednesday will find her. Somewhere only we know. Like, who sings that song? Is that Keen? I forget.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure because they are on the East Coast and the Northeast, presumably Jersey, because the Addams family lives in Jersey. They have Jersey plates in this show. They can drive to Nevermore, so they're not terribly far.
Right. Well, I guess in that case, they probably just she probably went to my mom's house.
She went to see your mom. I don't know, she could go to the Poconos. Where else is it good? Yeah. Maybe she went to Amish country. I'm not sure. Like,
I wouldn't go to I wouldn't go to Amish country because I don't think they would know how to handle a werewolf. Like, whereas you go to like the woods, like near my mom's house, and just like hide out there, like no one will ever find you. There's some,
originally
maybe a couple of teenagers drinking out by the lookout tower, but that's about it.
She spent part of the summer in San Francisco where she went to Lupin Palooza. Maybe she ran all the way out there. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
That's a bit far. But yeah, I was just thinking both in terms of practicality, but also in terms of a setting they can use for season 3. What would be interesting? Not really sure. Do you guys have any ideas? Where did Enid run off to? Where she was safe, where she could be safe, and where Wednesday could find her. Interesting. Now, were you adding something? You had a thought?
No, I was just going to say something like she can't go to Central Park because it's not big enough for her to hide in. Although that is that would be a sort of interesting.
Right.
I don't know where the hell you'd hide in Central Park. I mean, there are woods there, but like it's not.
Yeah, there's not great places, intentionally so. There's not great places to hide in
Although God knows if you watch Law and Order and SVU, there's been apparently plenty of places to hide bodies in the Central Park. So
see, Vegas is easier to hide in. We have the tunnel people, lots of bodies in Lake Mead, apparently. When it was funny when we had the drought and Lake Mead was drying up, and all of a sudden we were discovering all these bodies with cement shoes and everything.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Let's close things out on this, Paul. Do you have any ideas, hopes, dreams, and wishes for Wednesday season 3? What do you want to see? And guys out there, what do you want to see in Wednesday season 3?
So I have a sort of unusual idea. What I want them to actually do is season 2.5.
Oh,
and what I want that to be is just about Wednesday tracking down and essentially rescuing Enid. But I don't think you need like a full 10 episodes for that. I think you do that in like 3 or 4, or maybe you do that in a movie or something. And then for proper season 3, they're back at school and Enid is fine and she's not, all furry. Although, by the way, did you notice that her fur had like very slight purple highlights?
Yes.
I thought that's one of those things where I'm like, you could have very easily forgotten to do that, and I love that you remembered.
Yes, very much so. Interesting comment from Zach Morris when we were talking about the Lake Mead bodies. So 8 miles out of town, 6 feet deep. Good old Vegas.
Yeah.
Creators of 86th. Is that where it comes from? I never knew the etymology of 86th. I always thought it was a restaurant thing. Like when you like 86 the pancakes, give me a ham on rye. I don't know. I'm just making up diner speak. I only know it from restaurants and then from people not paying their bills. So Johan agrees with you in that you want to have that.
Yeah, I don't think I think if they stretch that out to like a whole season, that's a bit much. But like I think if they just had that be a couple episodes and then it's like, oh, now we're going back to school.
Yeah, like a 3 or 5-parter or something like that.
Yeah,
I could see that working. Oh, you know what? I forgot to write a question.
Okay.
I gotta ask you that now. Favorite episode of the show in season 2?
The Freaky Friday one.
Absolutely. Same here.
It was silly, but it was just a lot of fun. And seeing, it's like I said earlier, like they played it really well because they could have like Emma Myers Jenna Ortega rather could have been just super silly the whole time. Like almost like a parody of Enid. And she wasn't. She remembered that she's supposed to be Enid internally.
Right.
Excuse me. Except for that like one scene where she goes like nutty and goes off, which was just hilarious.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Freaky Friday episode was my favorite, partially because they did such a good job of playing each other. Another reason is that they had the dance number that you're referring to that they did was set to Blackpink's Boombaya, which I'm a Blackpink fan, so that made me happy. But also there were some real great character development moments that increased the bond between not only Enid and Wednesday, but the way Agnes's character related to both of them. Since they were switched, they got to see different aspects of both characters, but also of how Agnes views them and how they viewed Agnes. So I thought it was a great episode for character development all around.
Yeah, because it wasn't just sort of played for laughs. I mean, it's like it's kind of, when you think about it, it's kind of an obvious thing that they were going to do. You know, like these two are polar opposites and they're roommates. Like, of course, they're going to do some kind of Freaky Friday thing. But I think that it actually like furthered the stories, and there was stakes involved. I mean, there was the whole thing where like Enid as Wednesday had to deal with Wednesday's mom, and like how that like gave her more insight into who Wednesday is and stuff. And one of the things that I appreciate about this season is by the end, Wednesday, she would never put it this way, but she likes Enid.
Yeah.
And she didn't like Enid a lot in the first season. She kind of tolerated Enid, which is how she would put it now anyway, like, because God forbid she'd be emotionally available. But I like that she sort of come to appreciate her little goofy roommate.
I think there's genuine love there.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
but there wasn't it like when they first met, like,
of course,
yeah,
for like the first maybe 2/3 of season 1. But yeah, no, I think it's a testament to how these characters are written and performed, is that the growth and their bond seems very natural, and I do appreciate that. And that's what I want to see more of in season 3. I do agree with what you said, that I would like less adults and more focus on the kids. I kind of hope they develop Tyler a bit more, because he just seems like generic boy henchman now that's just being passed around to different people. So I kind of hope that they give him something meatier to work with and something more to be. I do hope Billy Piper's still around. Who would you cast as the principal in season 3?
I literally was just thinking that, like, who would you get as the principal? And I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, Gwendolyn Christie was so good in season 1, but I liked her even better as a ghost, especially because she got to interact with Morticia more. I love their scenes together, and she's just such a powerful presence. Both in terms of her delivery, but also physically. It just, you mentioned the juxtaposition of her standing next to Jenna Ortega. Just I love seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, all the people that I'm thinking of are unfortunately not around, because I was thinking of like Martin Landau would be really cool.
It would be really cool. There's a big problem though.
Yeah, Abe Vigoda would be really. I'm trying to think of like who are the modern day like weird ass character.
It's like I can't think of a modern day Abe Vigoda. That occurred to me.
I mean but that's like the kind of person you need. I mean, that is what Fred Armisen is in some respects.
Yeah,
like, you need somebody who like would be kind of weird and I don't know. I'm trying to think of like
I almost wanted to say Kenneth Branagh, but he already played a goofy teacher in Harry Potter, so I don't know if you can do that. You can, but
Michael Sheen.
Oh,
Michael Sheen would be really good. Michael Sheen was on a show with the guy who played Jesus from The Walking Dead, where Michael Sheen was a doctor who was also a serial killer, and he was in jail, and his son helped solve crimes. And by the way, it starred the woman who was in that Chaos show that we mentioned earlier, who was fantastic. He's like another, like, he could play like a weird scenery chewing.
Yeah, he's
kind
so
of guy.
cool. Here's an interesting one that I'm just remembering now. And during one of the press interviews for season 2, they asked the cast, who would they want to see added in season 3. And Emma Myers said David Tennant, which I thought would be super.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine him as the principal. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, you can already see him being sinister. So, that turn will come eventually.
Right.
So.
He would be good, especially if they cast him and they made it seem like he was going to be a bad guy, and then he ended up not being a bad guy at all.
Yeah, kind of like Gwendolyn Christie's character in the first one, where she's an antagonist, but she really does have a good heart, but you weren't sure until the very end.
Yeah.
I kind of
or you go completely different with it and get somebody who is not like an inherent weirdo, like a Leslie Mann, like who always seems very, very sweet and kind and nice, and then like you give her like a dark side.
I like it. If you guys have any ideas of who you want as the next principal of Evermore, please, Nevermore, please leave them in the comments section. That'll be a wrap for our discussion of Wednesday Season 2. Be sure to go to paulsemel.com. Check it out 10 times a day at minimum. Check out the links in the Facebook and YouTube subscriptions. And join us next week, where I will be talking to Ray Carcillo, a friend of ours, also an excellent video game journalist, but also a budding stand-up comedian. We're going to have a talk about how he got into stand-up, his comedic influences, the state of comedy in today's world, and a whole lot more. Thanks for watching RPadTV. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let me make the heart symbols appear hearts. Thank you.
Raymond, that's you.